He does it as soon as he's.
I wait. I'd like to welcome you to the April 20th Town Board meeting. Please stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
John Baisley, First Ward.
Bill Carlos, Second Ward.
Joe Conti, Third Ward.
Michael Safone, Fourth Ward.
Joseph Lepore, Fifth Ward.
Ann Shershen, Sixth Ward.
Todd Tancredi, Supervisor.
Felicia Salvatore, Town Clerk.
Jim Nelson, attorney for the town.
Okay, we've got a few public hearings on the agenda tonight, but I'd like to ask the board if we could move agenda item 5 to the top of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have a new hire. Has he arrived? Oh, there he is. I didn't see him back there. Hey, Chris. All right, we're going to move number 5 up to the top of the agenda. So, Chief, if you want to come forward. Okay.
You ready? Be it resolved, the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby appoint Christopher R.A. Rollison to the position of full-time police officer under the provisions of civil service law dealing with the resignation reinstatement at the yearly salary of $57,157 effective May 9, 2016, which appointment is subject to a probationary period of not less than 26 nor more than 52 weeks per civil service law. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Just like to welcome Police Officer Rollison. He's in a line of family distinction in our police department. His father, the mayor. We didn't hold that against Christopher, the fact that you're the mayor when we, decided to hire him. But, hey, I'd see if you wanted to say anything tonight, Mr. Mayor, but we don't have. We move our meetings right along.
I would just say and offer to you, thank you very much for hiring Chris. He is an excellent candidate to be a Town of Poughkeepsie police officer.
We agree.
Serve this community with dignity and integrity, and this is a very proud moment for me and
should be
family.
You should be proud.
Nothing but safety and good luck, and God bless Chris.
Should be proud of your son, and we're really happy to have you. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Welcome. Lori, I didn't see you back there. Hi. You got a long day. I saw you this morning bright and early, and you're still at it. Okay. All right. We're going to public hearing number 1 was a town code amendment to our highway business district. We've adjourned it once before. We're going to again because we're still working our way through this. Was there anybody here to speak to public hearing number 1? If not, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn it to the first meeting in June.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. I'd like to make a motion to open public hearing number 2, Town Code Amendment, Chapter 195, Darrow Place.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone here to speak to public hearing number 2? Seeing no one, I make a motion to close public hearing number 2.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Bill?
Be it enacted that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie, pursuant to a public hearing held on the 20th day of April 2016 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, does hereby amend Town Code, Chapter 195, entitled Vehicle and Traffic, specifically Section 195-51, Schedule 16, Parking Prohibited Certain Hours, and 195-48, Schedule 13, Parking Prohibited at all times as follows. Delete 195-51, Schedule 16, Parking Prohibited certain hours. Name of street, Darrell Place. Side, both. Hours day, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday to Friday. Location, east side and west side, including the cul-de-sac. Add Section 195-48, Schedule 13, Parking Prohibited at all times. Name of street, Darrell Place, both sides, in the cul-de-sac located approximately 615 feet south on Darrell Place from the intersection with Dutchess Turnpike, Route 44. Be it further enacted that the legal notice of public hearing was posted on April 7, 2016, and published in the Poughkeepsie Journal on April 11, 2016, and be it further enacted that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby determine that this is a Type 2 action requiring no environmental review, and be it further enacted that said local law shall become effective immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State. So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
As I had said before, this was a matter of coming together with Sergeant Chica and the residents, and our first attempt didn't get it right, but on the second attempt we did, and everybody's happy, and that's great.
Good, and that's
Thanks
what's,
to all involved.
that's what's important.
Yep.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. I'd like to make a motion to open public hearing number 3, Town Code Amendment, Chapter 160, Records.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I lost my place here, lost my train of thought. This is the public hearing dealing with the foils and records officer, and it talks of the deputy town attorney, which we don't have one, so Felicia has done some work on this just to basically get the wording to reflect the way things have been happening for a while now in the town. So is there anyone here to speak to this public hearing? Seeing no one, I make a motion to close public hearing number 3.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Joe?
Yep. Be it enacted that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie, pursuant to a public hearing held on the 20th day of April, 2016 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, does hereby amend the Town Code, Chapter 160, entitled Records. And be it further enacted that the amendments are attached hereto and incorporated herein, and the Town Board does hereby waive a verbatim reading of said amendments, and does direct the said amendments be spread across the record as if they had in fact been read verbatim. And be it further enacted, the Town Board has previously declared its intent to act as lead agency under the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, and does declare said action to be a Type 2 action. And be it further enacted that the legal notice of public hearing was posted on April 7th, 2016, and published in the Poughkeepsie Journal on April 11th, 2016. And be it further enacted that said local law shall take effect immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State. So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. I'd like to make a motion to open public hearing number 4, Town Code Amendment, Chapter 195, Lindbergh Place.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone here to speak to this public hearing? Yes, come on up. Sure, please.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
Heinz Svenkel. I'm a resident at 17 de Laval.
Okay.
And just wanted to express my concern about the possibility of, switching the traffic light to a stop sign. The street going one way has already changed the traffic pattern on de Laval Place, which is what Marple turns into as it goes up the road onto and connects with Innis. And I've lived there. I'm a professor at SUNY New Paltz, but I've lived in Poughkeepsie for over 25 years. 16 at that address. And this is the first time that traffic has backed up all the way from Innis to the intersection of North Grand and de Laval. And as you probably all know, that intersection is a very troubled one. We have accidents there several times a year. and largely because the traffic that comes up from Marple does not slow down. And with the traffic backing up, usually when a car comes over that hill quickly, there's room on De Laval Place, right, for some leeway. But with the traffic backed up, I've noticed cars barreling up that hill and having to slam on their brakes. So our traffic has already become more dangerous, and B, if that traffic light at Lindbergh becomes a stop sign, it's likely that the traffic going up that street will also move more quickly. As I'm going on my walks in the evening, I've noticed that the cars because it's one way now, the cars that are on Innis tend to pull into Lindbergh much more quickly than they used to. When that street was two ways, people were fairly respectable and cautious about pulling in there. The other thing is the other two stop signs on Lindbergh are stop signs where people tend to just come to a rolling stop because there's not that much traffic on those. The traffic there has increased a bit. But if that becomes habitual for the intersection at Lindbergh and North Grand, the intersecting traffic is likely to be a problem, and there's a likelihood that there will be more accidents there. So I am here to oppose the changing of that traffic light into a stop sign. The traffic light was put there initially, I think, for safety purposes. And I think because of the increased traffic and the changing in rate of flow, it's much wiser to keep it that way. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for your words.
Anybody else? Hello, how are you?
I'm Ann Dalton, and I'm
Ann?
also a long-time resident and in the same area. And I'm recovering from a concussion, so I'm not going to
Okay.
say too much, but I want to support what Professor Fenkel said. And we support our nearby neighbors on Lindbergh, and we want them to have a safe situation on their street. And we want to have a safe situation on the neighboring streets, and that's why I'm speaking tonight. I have observed the same thing coming from Innis into Lindbergh. Now that it's one way, the cars are pulling in much, much faster and not slowing down. As they approach that light, they're kind of just running into the street. And unless there is the hard stop of the light, I think they will roll through the stop signs, and then it's a danger with the North Grand traffic that's proceeding in the both directions. And, this change to making Lindbergh one way has really had a heavy impact on De Laval, which has already been a dangerous street in terms of a high level of accidents, especially at that De Laval and Marple North Grand corner. So if there's anything that can be done down the road to reduce the danger there, which has risen, there is a high likelihood there will be more accidents there due to the change, the way the traffic's backing up. As people zoom up the Marple Hill, they're accelerating. And they tend to run that light anyway. But now they're not expecting to have traffic on that other side of the light, which is sitting there idling. So if there's anything that can be done to come up with a plan to deal with the effect of the one-way change on Lindbergh, that would be helpful, because it has had a heavy impact on many of us.
Well, and the rationale behind that was to force people not to make the left that was coming. We want them to use the arterial and use one of the exits off, use Innis Avenue coming up. What they're doing is they're trying to cut through the neighborhood. Let me finish.
Yeah.
I heard
I
you
couldn't
there.
quite hear you.
Okay. What we're trying to do is alleviate the problem where they're cutting through the neighborhood. okay? So by making them use Innes Avenue, that's where they should be going, or using the arterial and coming down and getting on Innes if they want to get up into Salt Point Turnpike or use the cutover roads there. Okay, we want to force them to use the county roads. That's the idea behind that. And as far as the light coming down on Lindbergh and North Grand, four-way stop sign, a car going through, if they're going to make an illegal right on red, they're doing that now anyway. So if you have a four-way stop sign there, you're getting a car to stop, and it's a lot easier if somebody's going to run that to stop if you're coming with a car than it is to come through that light, because we've had a number of accidents over there. So I can't, the theory that they're going to run through that light, they're going to come to a stop. They may roll through it, but at least somebody on the other three intersection can see it coming. But if they're racing through it, you don't have a chance. At least you have a chance that they're going 2 miles an hour, 3 miles an hour with a car to a rolling stop.
I have to say, as a long-term resident up there, there's a lot of stop signs in the neighborhood. People run them all the time. It's much less likely, from what I have observed over a long period of time, for people to run the lights. It registers as more of a hard stop somehow. And if the change, taking out that entry into Lindbergh, making it one way, was to lessen the traffic or redirect it, it's had the effect of taking it over to De Laval, not to the county roads. So this street that has a burdensome amount of traffic, noise, pollution, accidents, now has a higher level of danger. And there's a substantial number of children on the street. And there's a lot of people walking. There's a store that reopened up there, so there's a lot of foot traffic. So all these factors, I hope you can weigh and come to some good determination to help all of us up there.
Again, but if
Thank
you have
you.
a four-way stop at Lindbergh and North Grand, it's coming, the traffic's going slower. When they're at a stop sign, they're coming slower up to that light. So I don't see how you can say they're going to fly past there. They're going slow. You got one car at a time coming up there.
Just from observation, what they tend to do, they'll glance around when they're coming through the neighborhood. There's quite a number of stop signs. They'll zoom through without stopping at the stop signs. But if there's that red light at Lindbergh, they tend to stop. If there's that red light, coming in from Innes to De Laval, they tend to stop. But say they're down on Sites Terrace or Ray Boulevard, where there are just signs, it's much more common for them to plow right through. And
But we could check the timing of that light and see if it's working the way it's supposed to. I mean, that's we could certainly do that.
okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Ann. Anybody else? I see no one. I make a motion to close public hearing number 4.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, where are we, Mike?
Be enacted, Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie, pursuant to a public hearing held on the 20th day of April, 2016, at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York. This hereby amend Town Code Chapter 195 entitled Vehicles and Traffic, specifically 195-36, Schedule 1 or I, Traffic Control Signals, 195-44, Schedule 9. Stop intersections with the language to be added underlined and the language to be deleted, stricken as follows. Delete from 195-36 Schedule I traffic control signals, intersection. Add to 195-44 Schedule 9 stop intersections, stop sign on, direction of travel, Lindbergh Place East to North Grand Avenue, Lindbergh Place West, North Grand Avenue North to Lindbergh Place, and North Grand Avenue South to Lindbergh Place. And be it further enacted that the legal notice of public hearing was posted on April 7th, 2016, and published in the Poughkeepsie Journal on April 11, 2016. And be it further enacted, the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie hereby determine this is an action, is type 2 action requiring no environmental review. And be it further enacted that said local law shall become effective immediately upon filing the Secretary of State. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just want to put some information in here. I'm trying to be supportive of it. And yes, I'm nervous. I do like your point, Councilman Safone, about how you are going to slow it down. I am worried about residents. We bring the deli into light. I like the idea of slowing those cars down, hopefully with stops. I've seen them go through there. I've spent quite a few times going through there myself, so as we all have. I'm not necessarily in favor of removing the stop sign, or the traffic light, but I understand where you're coming from. I think the intention is that, I think what your master plan is breaking the habit of residents using Lindbergh on that one way and kicking them up here,
Get them
or
to
just
move,
getting them off,
want them
yeah.
onto the arterial.
I see it. One thing I think I'd like to ask is maybe could we get some pedestrian walkways up through in that intersection? Sometimes that even helps a little bit more. If you notice, we maybe put pedestrian walkway signs, where it'll even make sure the cars stop a little bit more. And again, if people in that neighborhood want to get over to the deli, I think it would be nice to maybe have those white striped pedestrian walkways through. That could help slow that traffic down too. And again, I'm hoping that this Lindbergh one-way does not turn this into a big issue where we're going to have to revisit this again. Because again, support you, but if we have a lot of feedback from my residents, which I'm hearing already, it's making it hard, and I think I might, we'll just make sure we have to address it again if that's the case. But one thing I think I would like is maybe just some pedestrian walkways up there, just to maybe try and slow that intersection down.
Anything else? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion passes 6-1. All right, that brings us to the end of our public hearings. Resolution number 5, we already did, so I'm going to go through the agenda items and then take questions on agenda items. Agenda item number 6 is the Stormwater Annual Report. Item number 7 is the authorized fireworks display at Vassar. 8, this was the walkway at the Dutton project, and it was only the walkway. It's item 4, basically, walkway. The legal paperwork isn't quite ready, so we're going to adjourn that to the first meeting in May, which would be May 4th. Number 9 is to authorize the advertised to bid for more sewer pipe cleaning and TV inspections. 10 is to authorize supervisor to sign a Safeguard Alarm Systems, Inc. agreement. This is basically, in the town hall, we have currently one panic button. This agreement will be to put in more panic buttons, not because we're concerned there's any new threat or anything like that. It's just the world we live in. So there's going to be some panic buttons put in appropriate offices, but it's also new wiring because the current one takes probably much too long to PD. So this will be much more instantaneous to the PD and also tell them where the alarm's coming from. 11 is to waive 30-day liquor license for Island Empress Cuisine, Inc. 12 is to set the public hearing date for historic designation on a home on New Hackensack Road. 13 is a bond resolution for road improvements. We've talked about that some, but we can talk about it again tonight. 14 is to accept town board minutes, and then we have 3 special consent items. 1 is to appoint our new controller to the Board of Ethics. He'll replace Jim Wadowitz, who was on there. SC2 is a resolution accepting the disability retirement of one of our police officers who's been out for a number of years. And SC3 is to appoint, this is a fix. We appointed this substitute court attendant a week or so ago. The wording was a little off, so we're just going to redo that with the appropriate and correct wording. So I'd like to make a motion to accept public comments on agenda items.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone here who would like to address the board? Doreen?
Can I comment on the Dutton project, even though it was removed? Or would you rather I wait to the end?
You can do it.
So I just want to bring to your attention, well, first of all, none of the information was out there, on the website earlier today, and I know you then told me it was pulled. But, so when you said it was for the walkway only and some, could you just give a little detail before I make my comment?
Basically, what the intention is and what the city would like to see, and I think what the town also, conceptually wants to see is a walking path along the shorelines of the Hudson River. So that's what this will allow. It'll allow for that walking path to be put in. on town property, obviously. The city's already, approved their piece. And that's the extent of it. It doesn't have to do anything to do with the project or the buildings or anything like that. It's the walkway. And, there's going to be some caveats to it, and that is, as if you brought up a few times, we want to ensure that property is completely clean of any contaminants. So we're going to make sure through the legal department that we have the proper documentation from whether it's whoever it is, EPA, DEC, Army Corps, whoever that happens to be. And there'll be some legal things that go along with it. But basically it's to allow for a walkway along the shorelines of the Hudson.
Okay, so now that that's been explained, the walkway portion is also remediated, is a site in need of remediation. So it's
Yeah.
also a brownfield. And I checked with the DEC today, and they said that remediation on the H.C. Dutton Greenway North Town site has not been completed, and work is expected to begin soon. So I guess I'm just not sure why they would put in a walkway and then go ahead and remediate it. So if you could explain that.
Well, one of the things that the proposed agreement has is an ordering or sequence of events, and under it, the town has said that it will take title, but it will only take title if, in fact, the property has been, A, remediated, B, the title to it is clean, and C, the walkway has been constructed as proposed by the landscape architects who have designed it. And then going forward, the city will undertake the obligation to maintain it at its expense. And the reason, to be a little more expansive, why it's not on this evening is that, pardon me, this requires some form of seeker review. And I think that the town's seeker interest would be better served if Mr. Wilson could look at the documents when he comes back on Monday.
Okay, so the site is not cleaned up, according to the DEC, at least
I have
for
no
what
idea whether it is, but the contract will say that before the town will take title to it, it must be remediated.
Okay, and then just the last thing, when you said that, okay, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Who will maintain the site? Do you know?
The city is going to be responsible for maintenance.
Okay, so I thought all along the town had been saying they did not want to maintain it.
Right.
And if you look at the application that they put in, it says there that the site will be transferred to the town of Poughkeepsie to maintain. So I suggest that.
Well, this is going to, regardless of what that application says, our agreement with the city on this piece clearly states that they'll be.
Okay, just so you know that the application for the cleanup that Mr. Kaufman put in December on behalf of, what do they call themselves, One Dutchess Avenue Riverwalk, said in there that the site will be transferred to the town of Poughkeepsie to maintain. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. That, plus the fact that it has not yet been remediated under the Brownfield Cleanup Program.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mark?
I know that your public hearing on that, the Lindbergh Place in North Grand is closed, but just a thought, I'm not trying to stop the process or anything. When it goes, I know usually when they put the stop signs up, they take the light down at the same time. When they if we installed the 4 stop signs, and I don't know if that light is even capable of doing it, is for like the first couple weeks, could we have that light just flash red on all 4 sides before we remove it? Try it out, see if it works. If it didn't, we didn't take the light down.
We can certainly do that.
So I just thought it might be a good way to be
One of my
proactive
first
on it.
suggestions was to bag the light and put the stop signs up.
Well, he's not saying bag it, he's saying
Or
leave
let
it
it
flashing
flash.
red.
They could see both.
Even better.
We'll give it a try before we pull the light
that's a
down.
good idea.
Just a thought for
We
you.
could try it.
Just, I'm
I don't
not
know if
even
that light's
positive that
capable
light
of.
is capable of that, but if it is, I thought it might be a good idea.
That is good, yeah.
Thanks.
Mark, great input.
Anyone else? All right, so no one, I make a motion to resume the rules.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Joe, number 6.
Be resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby set May 4th, 2016 at 7 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter might come to be heard in the town hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Overrocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, as the date, time, and place for the public hearing to accept public comment on a draft storm water annual report, and be further resolved that the searchable draft storm water annual report prepared by town engineering should be filed in the town clerk's office and posted on the town's website for review by any interested party on April 29, 2016. And be further resolved that the town board will accept public comment on the draft stormwater annual report commencing on May 4th, 2016 and ending on May 13, 2016 at 4 p.m. And be further resolved that the contact person for this report is Eric Holman, Department of Planning, 1 Overrock Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, whose email is, I'll spell it, EHOLLMAN at townofpoughkeepsie.newyork.gov. And be further resolved that the town clerk is authorized and direct to immediately publish a notice to the public hearing and the comment period. And be further resolved that the town board does direct the director of a municipal development to review any comments on the draft stormwater annual report and file the final report by May 27, 2016. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Ann?
Oh, that's right, there is no number 8, number 9. Be resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the town clerk to advertise for bids for sanitary.
See, there was a number 7.
We
Yeah,
gotta do seven.
that's all right. We can come back to it.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Ann.
7? Oh, yeah.
Go back.
Okay.
Continue.
Oh, there it is. Well, if you want me to switch, I can switch.
No, finish 9 and then we'll come back to
9,
it.
good. Okay. That's all right. Sanitary sewer pipe cleaning and CCTV inspections 2006 pursuant to plans and specifications prepared, which plans and specifications will be available on April 25th, 2016 in the office of the town clerk, with a bid opening to be held on May 11th, 2016 at 11 a.m. And be further resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby reserve the right to accept or reject any bids in whole or part. And be further resolved, the town board does hereby determine that this action is a type 2 action requiring no environmental review. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Do you know how many feet we're doing this trip?
No, I know I don't know how many feet it is, no.
Well, it's just another step in the right direction. I mean, we have to know what's down there and what's going on, and last time they found a few odds and ends and they got through it, and Franco's been cleaning up some stuff that's down there, so.
Doing a great job.
You don't see that stuff, you don't see what's underground.
No, we're putting a lot of emphasis on our infrastructure. I think as far as the number of feet, it may be determined by the price, the less expensive, the more we can do, that type of thing.
We're doing this one by ourselves this time? It's not with Tri-Muni, they're not involved in this one?
No, I think they're finished. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. So we'll go back to number 7. Whereas the town board of Town of Poughkeepsie has heretofore received an application from Vassar College to include a fireworks display at its Vassar College Founder's Day event to be held on Saturday, May 7th, 2016, with a rain date of Sunday, May 8th, 2016. And whereas the applicant has notified the Arlington Fire Department, and whereas a certificate of liability insurance has been filed with the town clerk, naming the town of Poughkeepsie as an additional insured, now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve the application is submitted for a fireworks display to be held on Saturday, May 7th, 2016, with a rain date of Sunday, May 8th, 2016 at 9 p.m. on Vassar College property, Raymond Avenue, Poughkeepsie, New York. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Whereas the town board of Town of Poughkeepsie authorized the signing of a year-to-year agreement with Safeco Alarm Systems, Inc. by Resolution 620, number 13 of 2012, and whereas the town board finds that the extension of Safeco agreement is in the best interest of the town, given the monitoring charges will not increase. And whereas the town board further finds that it would be in the best interest of the town to contract with Safeco to provide additional safety features, and that would be in the best interest of the town to not solicit alternative proposals or quotations for such additional features because Safeco is already providing the base alarm services. Now therefore, be it resolved, the town board of Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby authorized the extension of the Safeco agreement and authorizes the supervisor or his designee to contract for additional safety features to be installed in various Town of Poughkeepsie buildings as outlined on the attached quote. Be it further resolved, the town board finds this a type 2 action requiring no environmental review. So moved.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? The total cost of the work we're going to do, which will include work at the police court building as well, primarily for the courts, is going to will run us approximately $7,000, but I think it's money well spent. Anything from anyone? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Resolution 11, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby acknowledge receipt of request on behalf of Island Empress Cuisine, Inc., 6 Raymond Avenue, first floor, Poughkeepsie, New York, for a waiver of the 30-day review period for a liquor license application. And be it further resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve the town clerk's forwarding of a waiver and consent pursuant to the attached request. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Maybe, as the town attorney, why is there a 30-day review? Because we seem to waive this each time.
I'm quite certain that it's a product of the state regulations, and they let
The New York State
locals-
Liquor Authority.
Yeah.
And we only have to do it anymore for new applications. We used to have to do it also for renewals every
And
time,
that's why we keep waiving this.
for a new, yeah.
Okay,
Business friendly.
all right.
Anything else?
Sounds like a nice
We have
place.
a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie has received an application from a Historic Preservation Committee for the landmark known as the Benner Hall Colonial House and Small Barn with Tin Roof, located at 2092 New Hackensack Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, to designate said landmark as a local historic landmark. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize and direct the town clerk to publish notice of a public hearing to be held on the 18th day of May, 2016 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York. And be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does direct and authorize the town clerk to forward notice by certified mail, return receipt requested, to the owner or owners of the parcel on which the proposed landmark site or historic district is situated, and notice by certified mail, return receipt requested, to the owners of all property within 300 feet of the exterior boundary of the subject parcel. So moved.
Oh, I didn't read this close enough.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Maybe.
Well, we have some comment here.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
we still
we
should.
actually changed this code that we no longer have
But
to
he
do the
seconded.
certified mail return receipts to all owners within. They go out regular mail, and we changed that code earlier.
All right, so why don't you make why don't we have a second? If someone would
Second.
like to second it,
Second it.
and then why don't you make a
A motion.
friendly, what's it called,
Motion to amend.
motion to amend?
Yes,
That it'll go out not certified, but just regular mail.
yeah. Okay, second?
Is there a second there?
Yeah, I second
Yep,
it.
she seconded both so far, so.
You made the motion.
No, I.
You
I
made the
can-
motion,
oh, I
but they
can-
changed. Does someone second?
I'll second the,
All
I'll
right.
second the amendment.
So we have a motion.
Who's on first?
Now you're trying to confuse me.
Yes. So somebody else actually seconded the motion?
Yes,
Oh,
made the amendment, and Jay seconded that
Good.
amendment. So
Good.
we have an amendment to the motion. Anyone, any discussion? All right,
No, I do. And, thanks for the Historic Preservation Commission for following through and looking at these houses and
Yeah.
working with these people because, they keep disappearing one by one. And
Well, and actually, this one's lovely. This is the chiropractor's house on New Hackensack. It's closer to the Red Oaks Mill, and they have a cornerstone that says 1730 something.
1931.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think the actual structure is from that far back, but from the maps we've seen, it's dated back to 1833. So it is definitely, it's a lovely house. The owners came to us, and yes,
That's
they're
great,
aware
yeah.
that, that they're going to be limited in what they can do, but that's actually what they're looking for. They want to maintain the appearance of the house, and also, fortunately for them, the law only requires that they maintain the appearance as it is today. And they already covered up their slate roof with 2 coats of shingles, so they're going to be replacing the roof, but they just have to replace it with more shingled roof, so it won't be as expensive. Also, they're not landmarking every building on their property, so just the house and the small barn.
okay, good.
We do send it by certified mail to the owner.
To the owner, but not
Mail to the-
regular mail to everyone else yet, because otherwise it's like 6 something
Yeah.
each. It's too much.
All
So
right.
it's correct in one aspect and wrong in the other.
Yeah, it is correct about certified mail to the owner.
All right. So we have an amendment. All those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Opposed? And all those in favor of the amended resolution?
Aye.
Aye.
Second? All right, motion passes 7. Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. I think we got that done. All right, where are we? Joe?
No, actually, it's me.
Or Mike?
No, wait.
All right.
Regular meeting of the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie, Dutchess County, New York, held at Town Hall in Poughkeepsie, New York, in said town on the 20th day of April 2016 at 7:00 p.m. prevailing time. The meeting was called to order by Supervisor Tancredi, and upon roll call being called, the resolution was offered by Councilman Safone, and I will read it. Bond resolution dated April 20th, 2016. Resolution authorizing subject to permissive referendum, the reconstruction of roads throughout and in and for the town of Poughkeepsie, Dutchess County, New York, at a maximum estimated cost of $10,100,000, and authorizing issuance of $10,100,000 bonds of said town to pay the cost thereof. Whereas all conditions precedent to the financing of the capital project hereinafter described, including compliance with the provisions of the State and Environmental Quality Review Act, have been performed. And whereas the capital project hereinafter described as proposed has been determined to be type 2 action pursuant to the regulations of the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation promulgated pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act, which regulations state that the type 2 actions will not have any significant adverse impact on the environment. And whereas it is now desired to authorize the financing thereof, now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie, Dutchess County, New York, as follows. Section 1. Construction of roads throughout and in and for the town of Poughkeepsie, Dutchess County, New York, including curbing, landscaping, and other right-of-way improvements, drainage and other incidental improvements, and expenses in connection therewith, is hereby authorized at a maximum estimated cost of $10,100,000. Section 2. The plan for financing of the aforesaid maximum estimated cost is by the issuance of $10,100,000 bonds of said town, hereby authorized to be issued thereafter pursuant to the provisions of the local finance law. Section 3, it is hereby determined that the period of probable usefulness of the aforesaid class of objects or purposes is 15 years pursuant to the subdivision 20C of paragraph A of section 11.00 of the local finance law. It is hereby further determined that the maximum maturity of serial bonds herein authorized will exceed 5 years. Section 4, the faith and credit of the said town of Poughkeepsie, Dutchess County, New York, are hereby irrevocably pledged for the payment of the principal and interest on such bonds as the same respectively become due and payable. An annual appropriation shall be made in each year sufficient to pay the principal and interest on such bonds becoming due and payable in such year. There shall be annually be levied on the taxable real property in said town a tax sufficient to pay the principal and interest on such bonds as the same become due and payable. Section 5. Subject to the provisions of the local finance law, the power to authorize the issuance of and to sell bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance and sale of the bonds herein authorized, including renewals of such notes, is hereby delegated to the supervisor of said town, the chief fiscal officer. Such notes shall be in such terms, form, and contents, and shall be sold in such manner as may be prescribed by the supervisor, consistent with the provisions of local finance law. Section 6, all other matters except as provided herein relating to the bonds herein authorized, including the date, denominations, maturities, and interest payments, dates within the limitations prescribed herein, and the manner of execution of the same, including the consolidation with other issues, and also the ability to issue bonds with substantial level or declining annual debt service, shall be determined by the supervisor, the chief fiscal officer of such town. Such bonds shall contain substantially the recital of validity clause provided for Section 52-00 of the local finance law, and shall otherwise be in such form and contain such recitals, in addition to those required by Section 51.00 of the local finance law. That's a supervisor's law determined, consistent with the provisions of the local finance law. Section 7. The validity of such bonds and anticipation notes may be contested only if, 1, such obligations are authorized for an object or purpose for which said town is not authorized to expend money, or 2, the provisions of law which shall be complied with at the date of publication of this resolution are not substantially complied with, and an action, suit, or proceeding contesting such validity is commenced within 20 days after the date of such publication, or 3, such obligations are authorized in violation of the provisions of the Constitution. Section 8. This resolution shall constitute a statement of official intent for purposes of Treasury regulations, Section 1.150-2, Other than the specified in this resolution, no monies are reasonably expected to be reserved, allocated on a long-term basis, or otherwise set aside with respect to the permanent funding of the object or purpose described herein. Section 9, upon this resolution taking effect, the same shall be published in full or summary form in the official newspaper of said town for such purpose, together with a notice of the town clerk in substantially the form provided in Section 81.00 of local finance law. Section 10, this resolution is adopted subject to a permissive referendum. The question of adoption of the foregoing resolution was duly put to a roll call vote, which resulted in.
So moved.
All right, so moved. We have a second? We have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, when I first got on the board, we did bonding, and a lot of people came out and were opposed to it, but we've gotten a ton of roads done in the town, a lot of infrastructure work done, and those bonds are coming off our rolls, and we've done a really good job paving all our roads. I think every ward has been improved dramatically, and I know, our town roads are really in pretty good shape, and and I think I'm really in favor of doing this bond to keep the roads moving. And it really hasn't really set us back at all, because we've been able to save money in a lot of areas. So I think this is a good thing. We should keep moving forward on it.
This bond, what we have are a couple of bonds, Councilman Sullivan mentioned, will mature in 17 and 18. Highway Superintendent and I discussed this. Councilman Baisley was involved, and Mark estimates it'll take him 3 years approximately to spend, $10 million in paving money. So by the time we're ready to turn this out, the old bonds will be coming off the books. We'll have them paid off. The money, the principal and interest that is being used to pay the old bonds will then be used to pay this. So the impact to our residents is a wash. There's no impact. We've budgeted starting in this year's budget for interest payments on we only pay interest payments while we term it out, while we ban it's called, and use this money. So again, we have a plan for this, and we have old bonds that are going to be paid in full by the time this thing is ready to go out. So the impact should be negligible, and I agree with Councilman Zafone. This will have a big impact on what we're able to do in terms of road paving throughout the town. $10 million is quite a bit more than what we've done, what we're able to do on an annual basis just through our operating budget. So this will be, I think the residents will definitely see a change and improvement due to this bond.
Yeah, Todd, as you said, as we've gone on, when we did the first couple of bonds, most of us were on the board. Mark did a lot of the hard roads that had a lot of major issues. Now this bond money should go a lot further, and along the line of what you said, as far as we're going, the interest rates are so much lower now. It'll actually be less of a cost increase than what it would have been with the old bonds that we have on the list. And this was your creative financing, which you did during budget time to make sure we could do it and pay for it. And I think it's a great idea. Mark will go, and the residents will definitely see a big change in the roads in the next couple of years.
Yeah,
Taxpayers' dollars at work, and you can see it and you can ride on it, and there's importance to that.
Our old bonds, if the rates, 4% on those bonds, which is probably somewhere around there, this bond should be about 2%. So the rates are much lower. So now's the time to do this work, and there should be no impact to our budget. So, all right.
I'm going to start the roll call vote with you, Jay.
Sure.
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Todd?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
And Ann?
Aye.
All right, motion passes 7-0. 14, Joe?
Resolution 14, be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept the minutes for the following 2016 Town Board meeting, to wit, February 3rd, 2016, Committee of the Whole and regular Town Board meeting. February 17, 2016, regular Town Board meeting. March 2nd, 2016, regular Town Board meeting. March 2nd, regular Town Board meeting. March 16, 2016, regular Town Board meeting. April 6th, 2016, regular Town Board meeting. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby grant special consent to the following items to wit. 1. Appointment Charles Emberger, Board of Ethics. 2. Resolution. Police Officer Holly N. Carl, Disability Retirement. 3. Appointment Paul D. Hoffman, Substitute Court Attendee. Be further resolved that upon objection of any member of the Town Board, any item may be removed from the list and voted on separately. So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Special consent number 1. Be it resolved that the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Charles Emberger to the Board of Ethics as the employee representative to fill the unexpired term of James Wadowich, which term expires on February 28th, 2018. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Mr. Emberger's here tonight. Would you like to say anything while you're here? All right. No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Congratulations, Charlie.
Another chore.
Say.
Whereas the Town of Poughkeepsie has received a determination regarding an application of Town of Poughkeepsie Police Officer Holly Ann Carl for performance of a duty disability retirement in the Office of New York State Comptroller, New York State and local police and fire retirement system dated April 11, 2016. And whereas said determination found that Ms. Carl is permanently incapacitated for performance of her duties as a Town of Poughkeepsie police officer. Now therefore be resolved, the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby concur with the Office of the State Controller's Office. The termination of performance of duty retirement is effective immediately. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Special consent 3. Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby correct Resolution 4-6, number Special Consent SC2 of 2016 to appoint Paul D. Hoffman to the position of unarmed substitute court attendant with the Town of Poughkeepsie Justice Court instead of permanent part-time court attendant. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. That brings us to the end of our agenda. There's just two things I wanted to mention, and then we'll take public comments on town issues. One is Earth Day began, I think today, actually, and our highway crew, in recognition of Earth Day and celebration of Earth Day today, and they will continue tomorrow, they've been doing some cleanup of our roadsides. Unfortunately, some people anyway, not all, but some people seem to not mind littering our streets at all. So Mark presented this idea a few weeks ago. The county's also doing it on some of their highways. I think it's a great idea. So our guys have been out picking up litter, like I said, today, and they're going to continue to do it tomorrow, and in an effort to try to beautify our municipality. So,
Fantastic.
Mark, we appreciate you and your guys' hard work, and I'm sure that'll make a big difference to the town and its residents. Oh, looks like Mark has something to say. See, Charlie, he doesn't pass up an opportunity.
Loves the camera.
No, I just want to say thank you. We started today, I had four crews out. We know the troubled roads in the area that we get the litter on all the time. A lot of it over in Fairview, cleaning up that stuff. But just in today, with the 4 crews, we picked up almost 100 plastic bags of garbage.
It's amazing.
So, you know, there's a lot out there, and the guys are cleaning it up. Hopefully it'll make a difference.
I hope it makes a difference, and I'm sure it will make a difference. I agree. And, you know, I would just urge residents, you know, not to litter. And if you see someone littering, call us, you know, get a description of the vehicle. That we do have a fine, I think it's a $500 fine for littering in the town of Poughkeepsie. It is a big problem, and I appreciate you guys doing that.
I just had a question. On Sunday, I noticed a bunch of yellow jackets through, especially on my ward, Route 9, that said police. I was not aware. I mean, I did say thank you what I was doing because I didn't recognize anyone there. I'm not sure if the chief knows about this, but there were a bunch of people going around.
Yeah, there's a section of Route 9, I think it goes from Spring up to around the Faith Assembly that the town of Poughkeepsie PBA adopted as Adopt a Highway, and they were out there. I think it was Saturday.
That's awesome.
And if you saw driving up 9, a bunch of
bags on the side of the road. I think the state highway DOT comes and picks them up. They'll leave them there when they're done, but that's who it was. It was some of the. the
I
members
rolled
from
down the window and
department.
I said, thank you, and then they probably say, who's this crazy guy here? But, I didn't recognize anyone there, obviously, I don't know anyone.
Yeah, I
But
don't know how many, I know there was, I saw some pictures, there was probably maybe 8, 10 guys, maybe a
yeah,
little bit
good.
more.
It's nice.
So that was
Good job. Yeah,
members of
thank
the department.
Great.
Hey, Mark, just on that note, New Hamburg had their cleanup last week, and you pitched in and offered to go down and pick up whatever they had, and, if you do this more and more, the neighbors will take pride. New Hamburg, they go out every year, twice a year, and they pick up, Mark works with them all the time, they bag it all up, they actually do the park, all the woods around the park. They did a nice job, so hopefully the people and the residents in that area driving through will realize it's a nice neighborhood to leave it that way.
Yeah, and any other neighborhoods that want to clean up, same way, we would be happy to pick it up.
That's
Just going down and pick the bags up. Mike's done it over in Fairview several times with a group over there. It works well.
Yeah, I used to do it
So,
when I
yeah,
was a
right.
councilman
Yep.
along Spagkill, and I agree with you, I'd
Works
get
good, so,
loads
Yeah,
of
it
trash
definitely
off the
helps.
street.
yeah.
All right,
So,
thanks,
thank you.
Mark.
Thank you.
Thank
you,
you.
Mark.
The other thing I wanted to mention tonight is, we had a second conference call this week with Moody's. Moody's is coming around, they come around every 2 or 3 years to, talk to us, the controller and I, and again, Jay was present, but they are, taking a look at our bond rating. We have a strong bond rating, and the good news is they reaffirmed our bond rating of A1. For about the last 5 or 6 years, we've had A1 with a negative trend. What Moody's did is they removed that negative trend. So basically, it is a improvement in our rating in essence. So we have A1 now without that footnote. And, what they're interested in and what they wanted to discuss was what development's like in the area, if jobs are going to be here and if things are happening in the town, and I think they were confident that that is happening. Our fund balance is improved. Our debt capacity, they noted that our debt, because of the road bond we talked about tonight, we're doing upgrades at our sewer and water plants. They noted that our debt capacity is going to be increasing, and they basically commented, we told them we have a plan for it. As with the roads, we have a plan as how we're going to handle that debt. They said, that's fine, we understand you have a plan, and, we'll check back in 3 years and see if it worked out the way you think it will, and I'm confident it will. But our debt capacity right now is 12%, so we have a capacity to go much higher than what our debt is. We're at 12%, which I think is very strong. I think they agreed. And I think another thing they commented on was the fact that our budgets are balanced, and they felt balanced budgets that are realistic in our projections and expectations. So I think it was a good conversation. Charlie, I don't know if I missed anything, but I think it was a good discussion. We, welcome their input, and we welcome them reviewing our numbers because they're there for, their review, and in the end, I think it went well. So we're very happy with the results, and I wanted to make sure I announced that. And then thirdly, I promise this is the last thing. Many of you are aware that I've accepted a position with the county. The news came out today. So there's going to be a bit of a transition here in the town. The transition will take 3 or 4 weeks, and once I do leave the town as supervisor, we have a deputy supervisor, Councilman Baisley, of course, and once I resign, Councilman Baisley will take on all the duties, responsibilities, and have all the authority of the supervisor. So with that said, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules for public comment on town issues.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone here who would like to address the board? Doreen?
Yes, I don't know if there's anything the town board or the town PD can do, but I would just like to bring this to your attention. Just in the last few weeks of April, Vassar College, I heard 4 EMS calls for intoxicated students, and 3 of the 4 were underage. And I think since the beginning of the school season in September, I bet there could be as many as 30 intoxicated calls, and the majority of those were all underage drinking. I believe it's really not a good use of EMS services or town police services. This is nothing new, but it keeps going on year after year. Dutchess County does have a social host law. If one of us was entertaining underage people in our homes, we would have consequences to suffer. But it seems that nothing ever happens at Vassar in this regard. So again, underage drinking, and I mean, we're not talking, they're college kids, some kids are drinking. We're talking that, you need an ambulance, and in a lot of cases, you hear, semi-conscious, semi-alert, patient, barely breathing, things like that. So we're talking about some serious drinking going on. And again, it just seems like it's taking away from resources, and I don't know what, if anything, can be done about it. So, thank you.
Thank you, Doreen. Anyone else? All right, see no one, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor? Aye. The board adjourns at 8 PM.
Thank you.